So we're twice as likely to be single. So we gotta fix this, y'all.
I'm thriving. I'm single AF. I can do what I want.
What's up? It's your boy A to the L to the A to the N. I'm Alan.
And I'm Nicole.
And welcome to the House of Love podcast.
House of Love is a relationship podcast where real talk meets real solutions.
Here at the House of Love podcast, we offer wisdom, excitement, knowledge about everyday topics hot off the press.
So whether you are single, committed, or somewhere in between, House of Love offers wisdom, laughter, and the tools to help love last. Because in the end,
love wins. All right, so let's get into it today. Today's topic
is called Single AF. So what does single AF mean?
Single and finding, right? You're single, you're trying to find your way and navigate your way through the dating market. You're trying to increase your S&V, sexual marketplace value, and you're working towards becoming the person that you hope to attract, because a lot of our dating is reflective, right? You are the person who you attract most likely, right? There are some exceptions, so we're not talking about the exceptions, but we want to make sure that during this phase of being single AF, we are focusing on the things that matter most so that we show up to the dating market the best.
Yeah, so single AF, sometimes people look at it as a bad thing, like, oh, I'm still single. So sometimes people look down on it. And sometimes people are like, I'm thriving. I'm single AF. I can do what I want. So we're just going to talk about being single and what that means. And let's just get into it.
Yeah. So just a few facts. So one of the things that when we talk about single AF, right, we look at what's in the market, our counterparts, our different peer groups. So it's important to kind of get a baseline understanding, right? So of Black adults, 47% report being single, which is more than our counterparts, with white being 28% and Hispanic being 27%. So we're twice as likely to be single. So we got to fix this, y'all. We got to reverse the trend, and we got to get these statistics going in a different direction, because there's no reason for us as African American individuals that look good, that smell good, that show up good, that work hard, that are very well versed, very well cultured. There is no way that we should be twice as single when we can be twice as committed. 63% of men ages 18 to 29 are single. 25%, 30 to 49 are single. 28% of men 50 to 64 are single. Largest distribution of singles across the spectrum, with age being the category. Of course, young adults 18 to 29. The largest share of singleness is young adults 18 to 29, and then the statistics dwindle when you get in your 30s and when you get in your 40s. So I wanted to bring that to the light so that we can understand just as much what's going on out here. Furthermore, how we go from being single AF, single and finding, or single and B, to being married AF, right? That's important. That's important over here in the community of love, and how we navigate, migrate, work towards, grow towards, and ultimately reach the pinnacle of our purpose, right? So I think there's no point that a man or a woman should be alone. Now, if you choose to be single, cool. You like your space, you like your time, you like your freedom, you don't like compromising, maybe you like or enjoy being an only child, maybe you're selfish. There could be a multitude of reasons, right? But I think it's important, as far as being in this community of love, that if you want to couple with somebody, understanding the things that matter most, or what you should work on during your age, stage, or phase of singleness in order for you to be more attractive on the dating market.
Yeah, but also sometimes you can celebrate your single season. It's okay to have a single season, and sometimes you have to have a single season where you're not dating at all.
Oh, absolutely.
Do the work on yourself. So again, like I said in the beginning, single AF does not have to be a bad thing. It does not have to be have a negative connotation. So you could be on either side.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So if you are single AF and you want to stay that way, you don't want to date in that moment, that's okay. Because you don't want to enter the dating market broken, not knowing yourself, all those things. So just figure out where you are in that single AF season.
Yeah, I think that's important during that season, right? As we have different seasons throughout the year, you understand that you have those same seasons within your life where you understand when it gets cold, it's more likely to be cuffing season, right? When it's cold during the summer, you might want to be outside, so you might want to be single, but be mindful of how that is portrayed, um, how that is perceived, and how that fits, aligns or misaligns with your purpose as you navigate in the dating market.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean as far as wanting a cutty buddy during the winter or being outside, being a city girl in the summer. It's more so like some people who are dating and trying to find their person may need to sit out a season because of a traumatic relationship they've been through, or just you have to like be prepared, and that's all I'm saying.
Have you in your single season that you're going through, have you feel the need to go out and, I need to date this person, I need to date that person, I need to date that person, or have you been rededicating and looking at your purpose and just kind of focusing on self?
Yeah, in my most recent single season, yes, I've dedicated it just to myself. Just got to a place in life where, okay, I've dated different types of people. I've learned certain lessons in dating. But now it's time to focus on understanding myself, understanding who I am and who I am, period. Like, you can't find who you're compatible with if you don't even know who you are.
Yeah, I think for me, being in long-term relationships and then getting to a point where it's just like, all right, time out. I need to pump the brakes. What am I doing? How am I showing up? Who am I at this stage and phase of my life, and what is it that I need to work on? So for me in my single season, it's been about dedicating this time, energy, and effort to myself, understanding who I am, understanding my purpose, understanding how I show up, and what are some of those intangible things that I can work on tangibly in order to help complete me. And I think those are the things that once you understand what those are, those different triggers, those different feelings, those different emotions, emotional maturity, emotional regulation, then you can better assess yourself in the dating market and who you decide to give your time, energy, and effort to. So, with that being said, let's get into it, right? So, I'll say the first one, the first tip or the first thing while you on this single AF journey, know your worth, right? We talk about that all the time, but are we really living it by actions? That I don't know, right? So, daily affirmations, daily, whether you're a spiritual person or a religious person, maybe you're looking into your Bible and looking at key scriptures that'll help you navigate through society. Or if you're on your spiritual journey, maybe you like to do the yoga and the Pilates and the kumbaya moments with yourself every day to really understand who you are and the value that you bring as a person. Also, with knowing your worth, you understand what you willing, won't, and can't accept no longer. You've been dating, you learned from those dating mistakes, you've learned from those failed relationships, now you're pressing forward. And I think those are the things that help you gain a spirit of confidence, a spirit of self love, and a spirit of self appreciation in order for you to be successful in attracting those people that you hope to attract.
And then if you go into dating without knowing your value, without knowing your worth, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure because a lot of people can sense that, especially predators, if you will, people who are narcissists, people who want to use you, they can sense that. And if you go out here trying to date without knowing your value, without knowing your worth, you are putting yourself at risk to be taken advantage of. Yeah. So you definitely have to take this step during this single season.
Yeah, and I think this is the part where you drink your water, get plenty of rest, exercise, read more, and turn off more of the trash, right? Whether it's reality TV, whether it's ratchet music, whether it's stuff that's always gender wars, right? You have to be able to sit with yourself, be single AF, understand who you are, know your value and the value that you're willing to bring out into the dating market. Again, that's your sexual marketplace value, SMV. What you're bringing essentially to the table, what you're bringing from confidence, characteristics, self-worth, self-love, appreciation, affirmation, all those things, right? And we'll talk about love languages in a future episode, but those are the things that you need to be focused on during this single AF season.
So while you're in this single AF season, it's super important to date yourself. Because before you can find somebody else and know what your expectations are when you're dating, you really have to know what you enjoy. Know what kind of dates you like. Who are you as a partner in dating? What kind of personality do you have? How do you just learn so much about yourself by taking yourself out on a date, on top of the fact that you will learn how you want to be treated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, during this time as well, of being single AF, I didn't learn until going to therapy that I should take myself out on dates, right? Fellas, put the pride aside. Take yourself out. A movie, a dinner, a sporting event, a bar. You don't have to invite somebody or have a companion or have your homeboy. Just take yourself out and enjoy being in that space, right? Because in that moment of solitude, you learn so much about yourself. You get an opportunity to kind of people watch, and you get an opportunity to just kind of step back and really evaluate. Like, all right, cool, this is cool. I don't have no time limit. I ain't got no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anybody, thinking like, oh, this is boring or whatever. You're really enjoying the space that you're in by yourself, and that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, and for men, why not? If you want to take a woman out on this expensive date and spend your money on her, you should be able to do that for yourself too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And guys, some of those good ideas on taking yourself out on a date that I just explained, again, that allows you to choose your budget. It allows you to choose your frequency. If you want to go to R&B night every Friday, right, and you want to dance away. If you want to go bowl every Sunday, go bowl every Sunday. If you dedicated and want to get your haircut every Saturday, go get your haircut and talk noise in the barbershop on Saturday. Those are the things that are important because you realize, like, hey, these are release valves. These are adult conversations. These are emotionally mature conversations, and I think that gives you a better perspective as to sharing stories to see people that are dealing with the same type of things in the dating market, or giving you some idea on what they're doing to improve their value in the dating market. And I think those are important both for men and women.
I agree.
Yep. And then next, some of the things that you want to do, you want to commit to yourself, right? Maybe in the past it's always been about you. Maybe in the past you've always made it about the other person. Maybe in the past you've always put others before yourself. But commit to yourself first. Put yourself first, because at the end of the day, all you have is self.
Yeah, and I think if you do that during your single season, it helps you to not lose yourself once you actually start dating and once you potentially get in a relationship. Once you commit to yourself, don't lose that, right? Do that for yourself. And yeah, I just think that's important.
Yep. And I think also as you commit to yourself, you think about the things that are valuable that don't have a dollar amount, right? So mental health is key. Emotional regulation is key. Emotional maturity is key. Acting your wage as well as acting your age is key. So I think those are some of the things that help you learn about yourself once you commit to yourself. If you steadily committing to another person or jumping from situationship to relationship to datingship, those are the things that are going to disrupt those things that you want to establish firmly in the ground for yourself. So choose self first.
Yeah, and I think if you learn how to commit to yourself, that prepares you, that helps you to find somebody that will commit to you too. Because if you can't commit to yourself, you can't expect somebody else to commit to you. Absolutely. So if you go through the motions to commit to yourself, I think that'll make you more attractive to a person who will actually take you seriously and commit to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. So let me ask you this question, right? In your process of committing to yourself, if somebody shows up from your past, how have you typically handled that situation? Is it tempting to go back? Is it tempting to want to spin the block, if you will, to see what this person is talking about, or you just truly dedicated to yourself?
I think if you're on a journey to commit to yourself, you have to stand on that. But it's hard. Sometimes I've had situations where somebody from the past that I felt in my soul it could have worked, or maybe I thought that was my soulmate, and maybe times did not align. And so you kind of spin the block or you consider spinning the block. But I think you just have to evaluate the situation when it comes to spinning the block, because there's times, like, I mean, look at Nelly and Ashanti, they spin the block and it works. So spinning the block is not always a bad thing, but you have to think about, why did that situation end in the first place?
Yeah.
Because if it ended toxic, if you know that if you think about it, you're committed to yourself and you know that y'all had something toxic, you had something with that person that won't align with what you're committed to yourself already right now, 9 times out of 10, you shouldn't spin the block. But there are exceptions.
Yeah, and I think too, just as his ex stated, I wanted us to spend some time apart to see if it would bring us back together, and he went back to Ashanti, right? So, ladies, please don't play those games, right? You got to commit to the process of not only understanding yourself, but you have to commit to the process of allowing God to match you if you have somebody that's out there for you. You have to show up as the best version of yourself so that person can identify you out of the crowd.
I don't think that situation is playing games. If you ask me, it's not necessarily playing games. I think it's, if she had a sense of, his ex, Nelly, if you will, his ex, if sounds like she had a sense of uncertainty, which is fine. If she had uncertainty, he left, cool. That's your loss. You weren't sure, so you can't cry with spilled milk.
Right, but if she had a level of uncertainty, then that's where the transparency should come in, so it doesn't come across as playing games. Because to us,
it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done when you're dealing with women who have emotions and things like that, or sometimes you have a man maybe just telling you what you want to hear. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, I'm not okay with certain things, so it makes me uncertain. But this man is telling me, and granted, actions speak louder than words, but this man is telling me, trying to reassure me that everything's okay or things will change or whatever. But there's still, because he's not being honest sometimes, it brings a level of uncertainty. I've had it plenty of times where I've tried to communicate a concern with a person, right? Okay. I'm not gonna say happy, because I know you don't like that word, but this isn't working for me, or these are my points of conflict in a relationship.
No, don't say the word that you.
Because we call it happiness, but sometimes it's not necessarily happiness. It's like there's friction.
Right, but that's happiness that has to come from within. So if you're not committed to yourself, so you don't know what happy look like.
But if you're not adding, if I feel like you're depleting me, so it's not that I'm not happy within myself, right? But you can be perfectly happy within yourself. Y'all know the old saying, I can do bad by myself, right? So it's kind of that situation. I'm happy, I'm good, I'm thriving. Most women there are women who come into situations happy and healthy, right? Mm-hmm. And they just get drained and burned, and they take our energy from here to here.